everyone. This is Roger Deering with Groovis Games Unlimited, and welcome. It's really nice that you're here, and I think you're in for a treat today. Today's video is about the Avalon Adventure board game. And what this is I designed this to be a pre-game, or as I've been calling it, the appetizer, before you play Dungeon Crusade. Okay, so you play this before you play the main game. So before we get into this, let me explain how you're going to get this game. As you know, there's three packages, or three pledges for Dungeon Crusade. There's the Base Edition, the Crusader Edition, and the Master of the Realm Edition. For people who pledge for the Crusader Edition and the Master of the Realm Edition, you will receive the Avalon Adventure board game. Okay? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to break away for a moment, and I'm going to set it up, and let's learn how to play the Avalon Adventure board game. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, I am back, and let's start with this. This is the map that I created for Dungeon Crusade. This is the land of Avalon, and I made 50 different locations over Avalon, okay? I'll let you look at this real quick to give you an idea. And this is, I believe, available for download, so if you want to, download it and check it out. So this is the map of Avalon. And so what I did was, with our board here, I kind of shrunk it down. And as you notice here, get a little closer, same as what you looked at, and I divided it up. Okay, so like as for spaces, okay? So when you start playing, this is what you do. There's our heroes up here. You're gonna pick one of your heroes to represent all 6 of your heroes, okay? So let's take the warrior here, all right? Now when you start playing, you're gonna place your figure here on Hope's Reach. You can see that there. So there's Hope's Reach. And the object of this is, as I said, that you play this before Dungeon Crusade. Scattered across Avalon, there's going to be runes. There's 3 of them. Notice right here, rune 1, 2, and 3. And there's a curse on the dungeon doors. So what you have to do is you have to find the 3 runes that are scattered across Avalon. And it is random every game where they're going to show up, like so. As soon as you have found the 3 runes, the curse is broken on the dungeon doors, and you're automatically teleported to the village to start your game of Dungeon Crusade. Okay, so I'm going to stop for a moment. We're going to look at some hero cards and the thing called placement order, and we're going to start moving. Be right back. Hey guys, I am back, and I have all of our hero cards. We are going to talk about a thing called placement order, and you might have heard me talk about that before during basic setup. That video for Dungeon Crusade, and in the Avalon Adventure board game that carries over. And what that simply means is this. When you put the hero cards down, this is placement order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you're not permitted to move these. Okay, they must stay in that order. Because when you're traversing across Avalon, you're going to be drawing from a deck of adventure cards. And here is the deck of adventure cards. And these are going to call out very specific heroes. So that's why you can't move them around, because if one hero takes damage and you can't, then replace them with someone who doesn't have damage. So they must stay in this order. And to give you an idea, I wrote 250 pieces of creative writing for all of the 50 zones, and you can see how many are on each zone. And each zone I wrote to be very thematic for each, part that the heroes are in. So I'm not going to go through the whole deck, but again, there's 250 pieces of writing, and what I was getting at was, this is random. Every time you play, you're never going to see the same outcome, okay? So I talked about the adventure deck here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break away real quick, and I'm going to show you how we're going to set up the runes that you have to find. Remember, to shatter the curse on the dungeon door. So I will be right back with you. Okay, guys, I am back. And before we set up our runes, I wanted to explain something to you. Remember when I showed you, of course, we got to find the green, yellow, and red rune, right? Well, on the map here of Avalon, our board, I want you to notice that there's these zones. The green zone, notice the little dots here on some of these locations. Okay, and it spreads to a little bit down here. And then towards like the middle here, you have yellow, running all the way up here to like the runes of Hexdor, Tower of Kings, Salemport. And then you have the red zones here. Each of these runes are going to be hidden within the zones in Avalon. So let's go over here to our adventure deck. Because as I said, every time you play this, it's going to be a different game. You're never going to see the same game twice. Here's our runes as I've shown you, but also there's fake ones. So what you do is, let's take our green deck, because I divided those green, yellow, and red. Let's take our green rune here and flip it over. Notice it's a question mark with a green dot. Well, here's the fake runes right here. They look just the same. You're going to shuffle these up. I'm going to shuffle better, but so right now we don't know where that rune could be. So what you do is to set the green rune up in the green zone. We have our adventure cards here, and I shuffled those. You're going to take a D6 and roll. Okay, it came up 6. You're going to count 6 cards in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. These zones here, notice Whitechapel, Whiterun Chapel. You're going to take one of these and come over here and place it on Whiterun Chapel. See? The next one was House of Demons. So we're going to put this aside and take another one. Come over here and find House of Demons. It's all the way over here to the east. Notice that, and place one there. And then finally, the Dungeon of Zool. We're going to take the last one, and Dungeon of Zool is right here by the border of like the yellow zone. So see, every time you play, the heroes are going to have to traverse and look for these runes. So I'm going to break away for a moment, and I'm going to set these up, and when we come back, we're going to show you this in action. Be right back with you. Okay, guys, I am back, and all of our, the possible runes are set up across Avalon. So I want to show you a couple things before we start playing. Of course, we put our one hero here that's going to represent all 6 of them at Hope's Reach. Our runes are set up. And picture that, this little pregame, you're going to be doing like little adventures all over Avalon, and each zone is very thematic for what it is, such as Crypt of Sorrow. You're going to be in like a crypt. Over here, the crags, this rocky area, you might run into some black rock vipers, so on and so forth. So when I wrote these, I made them very thematic for you. You're going to be using the dice from Dungeon Crusade for your adventures, and when you're out in Avalon, you could acquire loot. So when you start Dungeon Crusade, you're going to maybe have some loot. You might find some gold out in, while you're traversing Avalon. So we're about to start here, and you'll see when we draw a card here. But just so you know, as you saw in other videos, here's one of our Archer Hero card. You're going to be doing a lot of attribute tests and rolling dice and battling monsters, and believe me, there's all kinds of stuff in the Avalon Adventure board game you're going to run into. So we're going to be using a lot of our attributes for this, okay? So let's start here. So everything's set up. And if you notice here, the white lines, there's white dotted lines. And you're allowed to cross those to go into an adjacent zone. The black dots mean you can't cross there. So it has to be over a white line. So for the first move, I'm going to take our hero, which is representing all 6, and I'm going to move into the Ancient Runes section here. And so what I'm going to do is, these are the tracking tokens to show where you've been. So we're going to put that there. And then, if you notice over here, right here it says unexplored, because now we're going into a zone over there that, of course, is unexplored. So all of our adventure cards would go right here in unexplored. And notice it says D12, and we'll get to that. When you explore an area, it goes into the explored zone. Okay, so since we're starting, we're going to draw the Ancient Runes card. Now see all these little outcomes here? And they're numbered 1 through 6, 7 through 9, 10 through 11, and 12. Usually your ones that are 9 through 12 are really good things, so you can find loot and gold, and 8 through 1 are usually bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll, and we're going to see what happens to the heroes here, okay? So we're going to take a D12, because if you know it says D12 on unexplored, and roll. Okay, 7 came up. So let's consult 7. The heroes gaze at the massive stone doors as they pass by the ancient runes, curious at what could be behind them, knowing one day they will return to explore within the ancient runes. So usually like the 7 and 8, those are just, nothing's going to happen. But let's say this. Let's say that they rolled a 4. And we're going to break away and show this, okay? So let me read this. The heroes hear the sound of the massive doors of the runes break open. 2 ravaged undead come charging at the heroes. Take the black and green D12, right here. These represent the ravaged undead. Hero 5 takes the red D12. Remember we said placement order? Okay, so the hero takes, and then hero 6 takes the blue D12. So it's going to be like a battle, see, between these 2 heroes and these 2 ravaged undead. And then it tells like how the battle will go. Blue versus red, green versus blue. Highest roll inflicts 1 damage. On a tie, each side takes 1 damage. The battle continues until one side is defeated. The ravaged undead have 2 health each. For each ravaged undead slain, collect 100 gold. And notice we have to keep track right up here. I'm going to break away. We're just going to do a little battle here so we can show you. But before we do that, notice like if we would have rolled a 12, Hero 4 spots a treasure chest perched on a stone altar at the top of a stone stairway of the runes. As he opens the chest, he finds 400 gold. Okay? So I'm going to break away. We're going to do this little battle here to show you, and I will be right back. Okay, guys, we are back for this little battle that, Hero 5 and Hero 6, remember our placement order. In placement order 5, it was our cleric, and in placement order 6, it was our barbarian. Our cleric is represented by the red D12. Our barbarian is represented by the blue one. And each of the ravaged undead have 2 health. And notice here that there's a black skull and green skull. That represents the ravaged undead. So we can place a hit marker when they take damage. So let's get going with this battle. So you put all the dice into a cup and roll. Okay, so let's see. Black versus red, blue versus green. Now if you notice, this black, this ravaged undead had a higher roll. Therefore, our cleric took 1 damage for that. So we'll mark that. However, our barbarian, hopefully that's on camera there, did, roll higher than this green one. So this ravaged undead would take 1 damage, the green one. Put it right there. And we'll go on to the next round. Okay. Red versus black. And blue versus green. Okay, unfortunately, our cleric again only rolled a 1, and this ravaged undead had a 2, so therefore she is going to take another damage. However, our barbarian rolled a 9 against that 1, so he has destroyed that ravaged undead. And remember, it said on the card you collect 100 gold, so we'll put that in their player area. The barbarian would leave then, so it's just these 2 battling now, the cleric and this ravaged undead. And she finally does score a hit. 8 against 6. So we'll put a hit marker. Actually, let's put this one right over here. And hopefully she can do the killing blow. No. 8 against 2. So she's going to take another damage. And we'll do one more. Hopefully one more. 1, it doesn't look good already. Against 5. She took another one. And finally, the cleric kills this ravaged undead. 10 against 8, and we'll put a hit marker there, and we will collect the 100 gold for her. So they gain 200 gold for that. I'm going to show you just one more card. We probably won't run through another one, but let me just show you like 10 through 11. Say that was rolled. As the heroes enter the vicinity of the ancient runes, there is a hidden cache of gold buried under some loose rocks by the stairway of the runes. Hero 2 must test willpower 15 to spot the hidden cache. On a pass, Hero 2 spots the hidden cache. Roll the d4. The result is what gold was in the cache times 100. So if that would happen, of course, Hero 2 is in the second placement order, so she would have to test, what was that again? Willpower. So you take a d20 and roll and add 3 to it. If she would meet 15, meet 15 or exceed it, you would get the gold. So all of these places around Avalon are like that, little battles. There's challenges inside of the villages. You can get into trouble with your heroes. So I'm going to break away, maybe just show you a few more cards, and then we'll wrap it up. So I will be right back. Okay, guys, I'm back. And let me explain something after we did, after you do one of your adventures here on an adventure card, you place it up here in the explored deck right here. And notice that it has D8. So if we would return to the ancient runes, instead of rolling the D12, you roll a D8 instead. When you return, if it has, of course, one of these red tokens, you would roll a D8. So I hope you like this. I didn't want to drag it out too long, but as I said, all of the zones in Avalon are very thematic, and that's how I wrote all of these little adventures for them. So, again, on the next turn here, we would move, say we could move over here into this zone here, House of Demons. We could reveal that, and it would be a rune, so we would place it here. And, of course, place a token there that we've been there. So I'll leave you with this up here. I moved up here to the Old Orchard Grove, and of course you draw a card. So there's all different kinds of stuff you could, different kinds of adventures, like right here the heroes have found red juicy apples, and they all regain 2 health. Again, another adventure here, but I'm going to keep these secret, so because all this fun, I think you'll love to explore all this creative writing I did for you. Okay guys, I'm going to sign out here. If you have any questions, of course, I love talking to you guys. Leave some comments, or you can get a hold of David Lockwood of Obsidian. He's very versed in all of this, and he could help you answer your questions. Okay guys, have a great day, a great evening, and I will see you in the next video. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.